The Lunar Guardsman. Written by Krimar. Chapter 9. Stop. Donut Time. Part 2. Yeah. Reagan slumped in his seat, looking defeated. He reminded Twilight of a colt acting sour because things did not go his way. I apologized to her first, like I told you I'd do. The old coot had me grovel at her feet at one point, but whatever. She has the right to do way more than that 1,000 times over, since it made her smile at me again. In all seriousness, she was quite happy about it. Raiden's frown deepened. I was hurting her quite badly, wasn't I? He mumbled. He lifted himself straight to his seat again. Then I told her about the Solar Guard. Turns out she already knows. She informally allows it for some reason. I think it's something personal to her. She didn't want to tell me. As for Luna, she already had the talk with Steadfast the same day Luna returned.
And?
Asked Twilight and Applejack in unison. Steadfast told her that it is the Solar Guard's belief, as well as his own personal one, that Luna is completely innocent of all of Nightmare Moon's wrongdoings. Raiden grumbled.
You don't believe him?
Asked Applejack. Raiden vigorously rubbed his face with his palms. His skin reddened and the small scars on his face stood out even more. I believe him. I can't imagine him telling such a direct lie to Celestia, but I am not underestimating him again. I don't like this. It's too clean, too easy, too convenient. He hit the table with his forehead and stayed bent like that as he continued. Pinkie Pie used his bag to make a makeshift table stack one plate of little donuts as she filled the second one from the larger platter. This religion thing has been going on in the Solar Guard for centuries, and she knows it. Supposedly she has it under control, but...
You don't think so, do you?
Twilight said concerned. Raiden huffed. He turned his head sideways as he was looking outside the window. I don't know. Among my kind, that's a risky thing to mess with. Maybe that was just us. I don't think I should trust myself much, especially lately. He heaved a sigh. They haven't done anything in a year against Luna, as far as I can tell. Maybe I was the problem all along. I don't understand, Blueblood said, concerned. Is Auntie in danger? Who knows? Raiden answered, despaired. Lunar rubbed his back in support with a huff, and he let out a relieved breath. Best case scenario, I am getting an ulcer for nothing at all. The way I screw up lately, that's probably it. Worst case, we can't do anything immediate without setting things off. I'm not taking that chance. I let things lie for now, rather than making up another stupid mess. We have too much on us to handle as it is. Like Little Pink's plate on my back. Could you...
Sorry, Dad. I'm just done.
Pinkie giggled. And anyway, I need to be careful. Raiden continued. One more screw-up like that tournament, too soon and without ample reason, and all bets are off. She's had it up to here with me. He lifted his hand, throat high. All favor and special treatment has been thrown out the window. He groaned. Figures that now she decides to do what she should have done at the very beginning.
I am glad that she did not do that,
Luna consoled him. Raiden turned his head slightly to look straight at Luna. So am I, now. Raiden didn't get up until Luna removed her hoof a minute later. They exchanged a short-lived smile. Twilight kept wondering in the past few days if Rarity was right after all. She couldn't tell. They were not acting any more lovey-dovey, but should she even expect them to? On the other hoof, they seemed so much at complete ease with each other. She had seen Luna casually use Raiden as a seat, or just nonchalantly pull his hand over to act as paperweight, and he wouldn't even act as if he noticed. He would do the same, leaning on her or anchoring his elbow on her. There were those small touches too. Nothing intimate, truly. Just every now and then one of them would reach out for the other, as if making sure of their presence. But Raiden always had been the physical type, so this could be just that. Or not. How the hey did you ask some pony you saw as a partial parent If they were lovers with one of the reigning diarchs anyways. She furiously scratched her metaphorical tongue with a metaphorical hoof. She turned her attention back to the table, just inside to see Prince Blueblood passing a batch of documents to Rigdon.
What are those?
She asked.
Oh, did you manage to get some background info on potential suspects?
Twilight herself was certainly tired of being around the bushes in the dark. Rigdon raised an eyebrow and chuckled. We have potential suspects. I certainly didn't know that. No, little one. These are bank documents. Rarity gently put down her coffee.
What are these for, if I may ask?
These are all for you. Here you go. Rigdon passed a single page to every one of Twilight's friends. Twilight got two. She scanned the first document. It was basically a long-winded receipt of bank transfers. Her own account had just been enriched with 5,000 bits. That was quite a hefty sum. Wait, what the f...
You're paying us?
Imbrash cried out in surprise. Rigdon shook his finger at her. Luna's idea. We are reimbursing you. You are all losing business and income while staying here to give us a hand. I think this will do a short term, unless you disagree.
Actually, I do.
Applejack said coldly.
This here is too much. None of us even makes this close to much in a month. And I don't take money from helping friends, big fella.
Shame. You're going to have a problem then, because I won't take it back. Rigdon was stern and decisive. Twilight got busy with the second document she was given, but still paid attention to them. I don't care what you do with the money. It's yours. You left your farm behind for days now, and we have no idea how much longer we're going to need you. Have your brother hire some help while you're gone, or give them to charity if you prefer he works himself to exhaustion. It's done and over with. Applejack turned to Prince Blueblood.
I'm terribly sorry, but I can accept this. You won't have to take your bets back.
She told him with a tone that made it clear she would not accept no for an answer. I'm sorry, Miss Applejack, but you seem to be assuming that we are given that sum from my own personal fortune. I only arranged the transfer. The money belonged to Rigdon. Good luck betting heads with him. Blueblood said with a dashing smile as he left them stunned. Blueblood picked himself off the seat. And with that, my business here is complete. By your grace, Princess Luna, Miss Rarity, I'll have somebody pick you up from the castle tomorrow at 8. Rigdon, good luck. Au revoir. The little bell over the door was barely loud enough to hear in the din of the field donut store, but to every pony except Rigdon and Luna, it sounded like thunder.
You have...
Rainbow paused to glance at every pony else's paper and calculate quickly.
30,000 bits to pass around? Where did you get that much money?
Rigdon shrugged. Poker? I have way more than that. I gave Twilight
50,000 bits?
Twilight gasped loudly. She counted the zeros one by one very carefully, and she rubbed the print in the days to make sure it wasn't just excess ink.
What for?
Rigdon ponderously pointed at Spike. Spike looked down at his chest as if expecting to see some pony else occupying his space. He pointed to himself with a claw dubiously.
Me?
Spike sleeps in a basket in your room back in Ponyville, doesn't he? Rigdon asked.
Yes, but it's because we don't have that much space. There's only one bedroom.
Rigdon interrupted Twilight. When you get back, hire some construction workers and have them add an extra room for my little flame. It can't be that hard to do. It's basically a treehouse from what I understand, he said with some distaste.
Yes, but this is way too much.
Twilight said remorseful. She always meant to do something about Spike's living space, but her salary wasn't that great and ponies didn't really flock to the library. She had managed to save a few bits, but still needed a lot more. Rigdon's offer was outstandingly more than what she needed for the construction. He is going to need furniture too, like a proper bed, and things a kid of his age would want to have in his room. Spike's eyes sparkled as he imagined a brand new room just for himself. She couldn't blame him. He had resorted to using the space under her bed as storage for some of his things, like comics.
There will still be plenty left.
Rigdon hit his thigh with his palm, making a loud slapping noise. What's left, you use. There must be a lot of stuff you want. Things you need to repair or replace, aren't there? Twilight nodded reluctantly. Her old mattress wasn't in the best of states, and some of the new kitchenware wouldn't go amiss. The stairs creaked too much for her liking, too, especially the third step from the top. She was afraid that one day her hoof would go through it and end up coming down the stairs head first. The library was old and hadn't been properly maintained for a long time until she came along. With this many bits, she could basically build it all the way from top to bottom, actually making a proper home out of it rather than just a couple of rooms at the second floor. Her breath was hitching. She didn't expect something like this, but she should have. Rigdon endangered himself daily acting as Luna's sole shield, or by his own troubles, and he still spared the time to make sure that Spike and her were comfortable back in Ponyville no matter what. It's settled then. You either take the money, or I come down there and fix everything myself with my own hands. Rigdon was completely serious, his forehead briefly furrowed in thought before he made his decision. If all of this goes well, I'm coming to Ponyville for a visit anyway. I'm gonna make sure... hey now. Twilight and Spike had gone over the table at the exact same time to hug their dad. Twilight waved through the store window at the pair that headed back to the castle. She noticed that every pony in the street gave them a wide berth. If it was Princess Celestia out there, ponies would either rush around her or bow down until she passed. None of this happened with Luna. The Alicorn gave a simple nod back to the girls that were waving goodbye from the other side of the window, and Rigdon gave a short wave before discreetly turning his attention to constantly checking his surroundings as they walked on. Donut Joe came by their table, giving them a more meaningful smile than the usual he kept down all times for his customers. It was nice seeing you all here again. Did I expect Princess Celestia to tag along next time?
Maybe.
Twilight answered distantly. She kept looking outside at some ponies who seemed to murmur to each other as Luna and Rigdon left behind.
Joe, what do you think of Princess Luna?
Donut Joe was a pretty good read for the common Canterlot pony. He made a point of sharing a few words with his clientele, and couldn't help but to hear things. He was the equivalent of a bartender, but one that worked in the mornings. The throb of Canterlot's thoughts was pulsing through him, a little filtered by his natural kind disposition, but still basically the truth. His hesitation to the answer right away spoke volumes. She seemed nice, quiet. Those were all true. True, but generalizations without any real meaning. Across her seat, the corners of Rarity's mouth gently arched downwards. Pinkie Pie climbed on the seat and gave a little whirl.
Just wait until we get her to really open up.
Pinkie gasped as an idea came to her.
We can make this our hangout spot. We can come here every day, eat creamy, delicious, soft, sugary donuts.
Pinkie Pie tapered off as her mouth slacked and often drooled excessively. Rarity softly nudged her shoulder, making her shake her head, tongue still out and launching spit everywhere.
This will be amazing! We can make this booth our reserved seat, talk about our jobs while we're supposed to be working, initiate a comedic tangle of relationships that don't go anywhere, crown status quo as king, and make a theme song where we all fall in a fountain.
Twilight tuned out Pinkie halfway. Donut Joe's trembling smile and half step backwards was all she paid attention to.
You don't want her here, do you?
I'm sorry, Twilight, but she scares me. Joe was apologetic. She seemed really nice as I watched you all, but when I greeted you in, the look she gave me...
He used to be scared of Rigdon too,
Spike reminded him.
and he turned out to be great, hasn't he?
Yes, indeed, but Rigdon is... I mean, he does look like... Twilight motioned him to stop beating around the metaphorical bush. She was very aware of the first impression Rigdon gave. Thing is, you'd expect that from him, feeling like a pastry was slowly baking around the glass as he looks on. Not the first time, at least. Getting that kind of feeling from another pony is... disturbing. He admitted. He continued, contrite. And she was Nightmare Moon. I mean, isn't it natural to be a little... concerned? Birdie rolled her eyes.
It has become boorish to have to repeat this time and time again. Princess Luna is no longer Nightmare Moon. That atrocious thing is gone for good. Princess Luna is not to blame for that creature's actions.
Y'all don't believe us?
Applejack asked. She too had seen Joe's skeptical look. You've heard the stories, he said uncomfortably. A lot of ponies wonder why she didn't try to stop her from doing some of those awful things.
Who's to say she didn't?
Applejack countered. Donut Joe filled with his apron. If she did quite a poor job then, didn't she? I mean, the burial alone, that one sounded like the nightmare was taking a lot of cues from her, didn't it? Joe turned to leave. I have some things to get in the oven in the back. I'll see you girls later. Pinkie Pie had all her enthusiasm drained by that point. She had a copy of Reagan's previous stance as she face planted on the table.
No pony really wants to be their friend, do they?
She sat sadly.
Chin up, Pinkie Pie.
Rainbow tried to brighten her up again.
We're on the case with you around. They're gonna make tons of friends, right?
She smiled shakily at Applejack, who hurried to nod excessively. Starlight made a mental note to do a little research. Every pony seemed to know about Nightmare Moon and the frightening stories that abounded about her. Twilight herself knew only a couple, heavily censored. That she heard when she got her cutie mark. Even those haunted her young mind. With her upbringing in the castle, it was no wonder neither her or Spike knew of any of the stories that ponies took for granted. Princess Celestia would not approach such a subject that made a monster out of her sister, and Regan plainly didn't know them. It was time for her to hit some books on the earliest opportunities available. Even Fluttershy seemed to know more about... Thinking about Fluttershy, she noticed she hadn't spoken or even moved for a while. She was still looking out the window, eyes glazed, paying no attention whatsoever to her surroundings. As Twilight watched, a stallion that passed by gave Fluttershy a short appraising look through the glass, and Fluttershy neither brushed or eeped. She didn't even notice the attention he was giving her.
Fluttershy?
No answer. That was odd. She tried again. Louder.
Fluttershy.
This time it worked. Fluttershy blinked rapidly before turning her attention to Twilight.
Oh, sorry. I was 1,000 miles away there.
She apologized softly.
What were you thinking about?
Twilight asked curiously. It was not like Fluttershy to zone out like that.
Oh, I was just thinking about Rigdon's story.
She continued bashfully.
And about the little gardener, Twilight.
She asked in hesitation.
There were others in the story, right? Proper heroes? Well, in the full story, yes. There are a lot of characters. There's a wise wizard, warriors, kings, and descendants of ancient bloodlines.
Twilight listed off some of the heroic characters in the tale.
And they are true heroes, aren't they? I mean, not that the little gardener wasn't brave enough himself, but it's them that saved the world, right? No, not really.
Twilight exclaimed further.
Everything the other characters do is just a distraction at the end. It's the little gardener and his friends who save the world. There is this person who at the end becomes the king of the world's greatest city. He's a noble, kind, strong, and wise, the greatest of his kind. And the first thing he does as king is kneel before the little gardener and his friends. Twilight, don't spoil it,
Spike complained.
But the little gardener was scared. He wasn't brave, like they were, was he?
Fluttershy was anguished with indecision. It was plain to see why. For Fluttershy, the idea that it was not the fearless that were the most important was earth-shaking. Somebody was doing some projecting upon that story's character.
He was scared. Really scared.
Twilight said softly.
It's because he was so scared and weak that kings and wizards knelt before him. How can you be brave if you are not afraid? But of every hero and warrior, the greatest of the great in that world, no one was as brave as the little gardener and his friends.
Fluttershy's eyes shone as she heard Twilight go on.
I see. So, it was okay to be afraid because, despite his fear, he was still brave enough to keep going on. For his friends, right? Thank you, Twilight.
Fluttershy sat back in the most straight pose, which meant that she was half crawling inside herself, but better than how she stood before.
You're welcome, Fluttershy. Don't worry, you will hear the whole story from Rigdon soon.
Twilight patted Fluttershy's shoulder. At least she could still help one of her friends with a little simple problem.
So, what's the plan for later, Twilight?
Applejack asked.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm gonna go take a nap. I think I might have overdone it.
Rainbow Dash gently poked her belly. It was unusually shiny and round.
Really, Rainbow? You should refrain from a bit more. Also, going to bed after a meal is a horrible idea. All this weight will go through your stomach and thighs.
Rarity warned.
Nah, I'll burn it up plenty later.
Rainbow said.
Luna wants me to spar with her later so she can teach me a few tricks before hitting the shiny armor tomorrow. Something tells me I'm gonna need all the rest and food I can take.
Rainbow winced in anticipation of the treatment she was in for.
The rest of us are gonna take it relatively easy,
Twilight said.
We still have a lot for the day tomorrow. We need to actually set up seating, prepare a bonfire, order some food and drinks. We'll spend a day making the invitations. I see I dodged a bullet there, Rainbow said. I think I'm gonna enjoy getting my flank beat to the ground more than having to deal with this.
Pinkie Pie shook her tongue out at her. The pink party pony could barely wait to start. She had said it would make the great precursor of the big formal party she would kick off in a few days.
I'm not coming.
Fluttershy notified them.
What? Why?
Twilight asked, troubled.
Is something wrong? No, There's something I gotta do. At the gardens. I'm going to be a bit busy, if you don't mind. Sorry.
Oh, she was probably missing her animals. Twilight expected to see Fluttershy surrounded by birds somewhere in the next few hours. It was going to be fine. Fluttershy's presence would be needed more to help settle in the foals when the event started anyway. The rest they could take care of on their own.
We're also going to continue our investigation later tonight,
Twilight whispered, making sure Spike was not paying attention.
Is that why, Sugar Cube? I'm afraid we're gonna get caught. I don't think we're gonna find anything important anyway. Obviously, if they had something we want to know hidden away, it would have been there.
Applejack whispered back. Ernie shook her empty glass.
Spike, could you be a dear and get us a pitcher, please? I'm so terribly thirsty.
She whined.
Right away, Rarity.
Spike made a spectacular jump over the 3 ponies in his way and ran towards Donut Joe.
Now,
Rarity said with a Spike got out of hearing distance.
Twilight might be right to want to continue. If Rigdon acts anything like the novels I've read, he might have hidden things in more than one location. Applejack is right too, though. I think we might be endangering their trust for no reason.
Applejack put her hoof on Twilight's shoulder.
Twilight, is this even about trying to discover if they're really holding something back? Or are we doing this because you want to find out about Rigdon's secrets?
This is about finding their secrets, Applejack. If they get in trouble...
I don't mean that, and you know it. I think that you want to go ahead with this because you're tired of being kept in the dark as far as your stepdad goes. Okay, knowing they're making all this stuff was good to know, but ultimately it doesn't really help us out with anything, right?
Applejack is right, Twilight. Not only is this a waste of time, but we are risking the hoofhold we've gained with them,
Ernie said.
Let's focus on what we're trying to achieve here, shall we?
Twilight shook Applejack's hoof off her.
We're going to be fine. We got in their secret armory and didn't get caught, right? Trust me, this is going to go just fine.
She assured them.
They know,
Rarity said hysterically.
Twilight, they know. I told you this was a bad idea. They're gonna have our heads. He is going to.
Her eyes flickered towards the grisly trophy that Twilight kept in a pouch.
He is going to have our horns.
She hissed in terror. The heavy door behind them shook the room with a vibrating, clanging sound as it was forcefully shut. There we go. Wow, what a cliffhanger ending, and not what I planned. That's the author. You cannot blame me, Kettle. I know you're watching this. You cannot blame me for that. Also, what I can't blame, or rather I love them for, are my wonderful Patreons. Thank you, my Tier 1 Patreons, Squall Windfeather, Brain Flicker, Starlight Blaze, Dreamless Portal, Thine Tiny Equine, and Stu Hex. My Tier 2 Patreons Chase Lemaster, Sword Brother and Mordred, Solus, RD Bryant, Captain Blueshadow, HKH4 aka Texture, and the Animated Ghost. And of course a large thank you to Silent Titan. I appreciate your guys' support so much, and it means a ton to me. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like and subscribe, or a comment down below and help the algorithm. I appreciate it a ton. Anyways, that aside, self-shilling, thank you so much for watching. This has been Firehearth. Have a wonderful day.